What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Ego Weight Watchers, let's talk about some weights. Now, I gotta give credit where credit is due. That's what I do on my channel. And Saul Canelo Alvarez looks fit and trim. He looks ripped up, ready to go. He's fighting the week after Mayweather Pacquiao, and he looks like he's ready. He looks like he's in good shape. And I told you guys, I know a lot about just nutrition and fitness if you guys have specific questions. But from the eye test, I could tell he's like based on his frame and height and stuff. I could tell he's not far from the goal, the target weight, just by looking at him. He looks ready. He doesn't look dry and like dehydrated or anything. Looks like he comfortably made weight. Now, I think one thing they are changing is Canelo. At one point, I knew he ballooned up in his off season. So I think he's kind of dedicated himself a little bit more in the off season to living a bit cleaner and living more like a pro athlete, that type of lifestyle, instead of just going all out and reckless. And then when you have a fight, you have to scramble and make weight. So nothing but good things about Canelo's shape. So this is definitely, if he comes in shape, definitely going to serve as an advantage in what could be an attrition war. Now, I will honestly say I am very concerned with James Kirkland. Now, he did an interview recently, and he was talking about why he left Ann Wolf. He basically said, in a nutshell, because he's with GT, he's a trainer also, that's his new trainer, and he wanted to learn new things, and certain things like defense he wasn't really getting from Ann Wolf. He said he takes nothing away from her. She's a great strength and conditioning coach. However, he wanted to learn new things. Now, my only problem with this statement, I will never knock someone for wanting to expand their palate, if you will, learn new things. But realistically, you don't learn overnight. You know what I'm saying? So this is not, Canelo's not a pushover opponent. You know what I mean? In fact, he's probably the favorite in this fight. So this is not the type of fight necessarily where you want to try to switch your style. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying he shouldn't be mindful of his defense, because if you know anything about me, I'll always be an advocate of the sweet science. People who fight smart, you know what I mean? Whether they're brawlers or, you know what I mean, whatever style they have, fight the right type of fight. But actually, I think Canelo, it'd be interesting to see him up against the James Kirkland, just to fit and tough James Kirkland, apply pressure. So that's one thing that's kind of shaky. That's shaky ground, because again, you don't want to start going in and switching stuff, and this is not really a style. I'm trying to think. I know I can think of some examples, but there's been some fighters who, I think Selçuk Aydin was one of them. He's more of a puncher brawler, and I think it was a Jesus Soto Caras fight. He was just trying to play like a Marquez counterpuncher. It just, whatever style he was doing in that particular fight, it didn't suit him, and it wasn't the style that he brought to Robert Guerrero and some of his other fights. So again, I'm always an advocate for learning new things, but you have to be careful, because you don't want to switch up who you are. You know what I mean? Who your identity as a fighter. If you're a counterpuncher, be a counterpuncher. Don't try to be a slugger. We've seen guys like Timothy Bradley be something he wasn't, and that was against Ruslan Provodnikov. He came in with the chip on his shoulder, tried to stand toe to toe like he's this big puncher and banger, and he nearly paid for it, as Ruslan almost knocked him out in the first 2 rounds. So another thing I'm concerned with, James Kirkland, a long layoff. He's been on a very long layoff, and I trust me, I like James Kirkland a lot. I like his style. I like what he stands for. You know what I mean? He's good for boxing, but I'm also a realist, and I do like James Kirkland in his style, but I also like Canelo as well. And I just really ultimately, I know people are going to the fight and whatnot. I want to see a good fight. I don't want to see one of those fights where it's like an Ishida moment where you're like, what the fuck is, what is this? You know what I mean? I want to see a good competitive fight. And I'm pretty sure the people in Texas want to see it, because the 154 division is pretty stacked. You got a lot of players up there, and I want to see meaningful fights. And I don't want it to see, you know what I'm saying? I don't want it just to be easy work because Kirkland's not prepared, and he's not mentally focused, and he's been on this long layoff. You know what I mean? I want to see the Kirkland that showed up versus Angulo, the Kirkland that showed up against Glenn Tapia, like a well prepared. And Kirkland to me is just such a wild card. Now the other thing I'm concerned with is his weight. Now this was 2 weeks ago, but this is his weight. He was 169.4, and that's a 1 month before the actual fight. The fight's May 9th, and he's weighing 170. Now, again, I know fitness. You can definitely, especially for a boxer, you know, they might have supplements or certain training programs and stuff. So he could definitely cut and this is also happening at Canelo weight, I think. So I think it's going to happen at 155, which is a little bit more lenient than making the straight 154. However, that's still a lot of pounds. Like you really do the math and analyze it. That's a lot of pounds to lose in a month. And again, it's definitely perfectly doable, but how are you going to do it? You know what I'm saying? You got to drop 14 and a half pounds in 30 days. So again, it's doable. I've seen people drop maybe a little bit more than that, but how are you going to look doing it? Are you going to have to kill yourself and drain yourself? And the other thing I don't like about when people don't stay in shape and then they gain too much weight is I feel like at this portion of the training camp, you should really just be focusing on more of your game plan and putting the finishing touches on what you plan to do the night of fight. You know what I'm saying? And this should be like more or less the feel good time of your training camp as you unwind and gear up. The fight's in 3 weeks, you know what I'm saying? And a month out, you're 14 and a half pounds over where you need to be, your target. So I don't know. Canelo's looking ripped, in shape. James Kirkland, a month out, is 14 and a half pounds above where he needs to be. So is he going to have to come crashing down to cut weight? I mean, again, this was 2 weeks ago. So he has about 3 weeks left or 2 weeks left or whatever until fight night. So again, it's doable, but I mean, there's a lot of things that are doable. You can lose 10 pounds in probably 2 weeks if you wanted to, but are you doing it in the best possible way? How are you doing it? You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of different programs and different ways to lose weight, and you just don't want to do it the wrong way. Or sometimes people even, because they're struggling to make weight, they cheat, you know what I'm saying? And they take diuretics and different things, and that just looks bad because sometimes they use diuretics to mask steroids. So you just don't want to get caught with banned substances in your body, you know what I'm saying? And if you struggle to make weight, it's just overall not a good look because it looks like it's unprofessional, like you didn't take it seriously. And this is a big fight for him. And again, the looking at Canelo looks ready. He looks ready to go. He looks close to where he needs to be. I would say probably no more than 162, you know what I mean? 158 to 162-ish is where Canelo's looking like to me from these pictures. So he looks good at his media day or whatever, and he's ready to go. So we'll see. I just really hope for a good fight between James Kirkland and Canelo. I don't want it to be some bogus shit. I mean, even in the Angulo fight, I was definitely disappointed. I thought Angulo could potentially challenge Canelo at least, and it was really a one-sided beatdown. So we'll see where James Kirkland's at. They will have a HBO 24/7, so that'll also give us a preview. Drop me a comment. Let me know what you guys think of Canelo and his shape, and what do you think of James Kirkland and losing 14 pounds in a month? Is it doable? Have you guys ever lost that much weight in a month? Drop me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Make sure you like my video. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.